Hi everyone, and welcome to the Learning Network. You're with Kell Bell. This bonus course will take us through the recipe to success in community and family studies. This course is for experienced CAFS teachers as well as newbie CAFS teachers, CAFS students, and teachers ready to take their CAFS crew to the very next level. So listen in closely and let's dive in. What I'm going to share with you today is what I really believe that are the ingredients to the recipe to success in community and family studies. All these parts make up a really successful CAFS student and a CAFS classroom. Once we see these little parts come together, we're going to see our confidence really shift in ourselves, but also our students. Our classroom environment is going to be very different, and our students are going to feel so much more confident in what they do. We're going to establish the ingredients from the get-go. So 3 main areas: connecting, being really purposeful, as well as teaching really explicitly. So connecting with the students is all about developing a really positive classroom environment. We're talking all the way from what's in the physical environment, as well as the positive learning environment that you provide to your students from the start. Building really positive relationships with your students in everything that you do with them, as well as showing a really keen interest in them, in their family life, in their community, all those sorts of things. We're also talking about really planning purposeful teaching and learning opportunities for our students that have a purpose, that have some sort of meaning and connection behind them. So creating really engaging learning opportunities and making strategic connections across the course is key here. This is one of my big ticket items. I want you guys to be making really strategic connections across the course. I've spoken about this before. If you've joined me in exploring Year 11 CAFS, you'll know all about it. If you've also joined me in strategic approaches to the IRP program, you will know that I'm really big on this. Making really meaningful connections across our course is really key here, as well as teaching explicit knowledge, understanding, and skills in particular to set our students up for success right from the very beginning. I'm talking about teaching them and having them apply their knowledge and understanding to course content, as well as having a really clear structure to how they set their answers up, a really clear paragraphing structure, having a really deep knowledge and understanding of our glossary of keywords, and having the students apply those in lots of different contexts. We also want to be able to provide the students with lots of different connections across the course in terms of wellbeing for both the option, and embedded into that is that connection across those 6 aspects of wellbeing. We want these connections to be really strong. We also want to see a really good connection to different case studies, scenarios, examples, all across the course. We want our students to stand out right from the very beginning. Once you see this impact, it's going to be big. Establishing a really positive relationship with our students is key to success here. We all know it. When we have a really positive relationship with our students, they're going to work with us and for us. Developing really engaging lessons is key here. Working together, collaborating and sharing, which is always what I'm about, is really important here. And doing the very, very best job that you can do. Teaching explicitly is something that I'm also really keen to explore with you. So having really explicit knowledge and understanding with the syllabus, but most importantly, I believe, are the skills that we teach our students in terms of paragraphing, application of the glossary of keywords, and the ability to be able to put all of this together. And by doing that, we're going to model best practice with our students. So we're going to demonstrate it. We're going to have the kids dig a bit deeper and work out all the little moving parts that really bring those answers together. You might be thinking, why do we actually need to focus on all of this? Why do we need to focus on developing application and skills with our students? Why can't we just teach the content? Let me show you why. We have our common grade scale, which is for all prelim or Year 11 courses across the state, in all Stage 6 courses. This is the A grade, so the students should be able to demonstrate extensive knowledge of content and understanding of course concepts. That goes without saying. The kids need to know the syllabus. But I believe the secret is in the actual application of the skills, highly developed skills, processes in a wide variety of contexts. In our context, it's community and family studies. The students should be able to demonstrate really creative and critical thinking. They should be able to be really perceptive, have analysis, have evaluation. And of course, that other layer is being able to communicate that really effectively. Those complex ideas are really effective in how they're being presented to us. Of course, this goes hand in hand with our typical Band 6 performance band descriptor for community and family studies. So, yes, it is about the content, demonstrate extensive knowledge and understanding about the influence of a range of different factors, understanding that, but also applying these aspects. So we have lots of application, we have lots of predicting, making valid conclusions, analyzing data, proposing, developing, sustaining arguments, being able to justify their point of view by using lots of examples, applying management processes, providing lots of good links to a variety of different contexts, being able to propose different strategies in this regard as well. Of course, higher order thinking, evaluating. We're getting the kids to really think critically here. Superior analysis, looking at the interrelationship between all of these aspects. And of course, again, as reflected in the Band 6 descriptor, they need to be able to communicate really effectively. Their ideas, issues, and opinions is really organized. It's logical, it's coherent, and of course, it's using appropriate CAFS terminology. Guys, this is the key. Making really strategic connections across the course, being able to have really high order thinking with our students, as well as showing them the way through developing lots of important skills all the way across the course. And once we build these important skills with our students, we are going to see a massive difference in their learning, not just their knowledge and understanding, but their application of skill. And we know the application of skill is so much harder to do. The kids can rote learn. The kids can learn definitions from the textbooks, definitions from websites. But to be able to build on those skills and apply them in lots of different contexts is key here. So let's dive in and really see that shift make a change with our students. The first area I want to cover is all about making connections with our kids. The students are why we're here. We became teachers to connect with our students, and being able to strengthen them, to build them up, to improve the relationships we have with them is key to success in all of our courses, but in particular, because it is about life, in particular in community and family studies. So looking for ways to connect with our kids is really important, showing a genuine interest in their life, connecting them with lots of different aspects, so different levels, showing an interest in their life, what they do on the weekend, who they might hang out with, what books they might read, what they might do for sporting activities, what they might like to do when they're older. All those sorts of things are really showing an interest in their life. Keeping tabs on them, making sure they're okay, making sure their mental health is as healthy as it can be, but also checking in on them and also providing that support that they might need in particular parts of their life. Of course, we want to also learn a bit about their family. We want to know where their background or where their community stands. We want to be able to show the students and provide lots of different connections across the course to their family and to their community. And a really fun activity I like to do at the beginning of year 11 is I like to introduce where my background is, so where my context is, who's part of my family, who's part of my community, and I get the kids to share that as well. I often get them to do it in a collage or a Google slide or in Google Keep, whatever system you like to use, having them display to you who's part of their world, who's in their family, and what community do they come from, what's their culture, what's their background, where do they live, where do they like to hang out. All those sorts of things that make community is really important for them. And of course, making connections with the kids to the course, looking for little touch points along the way that we can connect our students to the course, the key concepts, the key ideas, the key skills that we want them to take away. Where can we connect with those things in their life? So if they have a really strong focus on advocacy in a particular area, Let's take that on board. Let's show that really good connection there. If they come from an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander background, let's use that and possibly have that as our category B group for groups in context. So having those lots of different connections across the course with our students is really important. And let me tell you guys, if we are positive, if we're creating a really engaging learning space, we might have really fun posters or really positive environment. We might have being able to decorate a classroom, or possibly if we're sharing the classroom, working with our colleagues to have a really engaging teaching and learning space. So the kids absolutely love coming into our classroom. And I often had lots of comments from our students that, Miss, I love our classroom. It's so positive, it's so fun, it's so inviting. And often students would comment on this all the time. They used to love coming to my class. Establishing a really positive relationship with the kids is key. We want them to work with us and for us. So making those little touch points along the way, investing time in our students, providing lots of different opportunities for them in their journey throughout year 11 and year 12. We only have them for 7 terms, so let's make the most of it. Offering different things like study skills or school holiday sessions, or a CAFS club, which you might have at recess or lunch, where you might provide some extra opportunities for them to dig a bit deeper. That's all the sort of stuff we're talking about. And of course, asking them lots of questions about their life, what they think, their opinion, also about how they are in general, what's their state of well-being, and providing lots of different things in our classroom for the kids to connect with us, possibly having things like a team building activity at the beginning, or maybe even a gratitude jar in your classroom. So the kids really feel supported and connected in your class. They will love it so much, and they'll work harder for you in the long run. And let me tell you guys now, this is often a little bit of a secret. Establishing those really important relationships from year 7 all the way through to year 11, getting the kids on board. If we teach PDHPE and TAS in the junior years, embedding some of the concepts that we have in our course in CAFS into our junior syllabuses. So in our 7 to 10 syllabus, we can look for touch points. If we're looking at possibly advocacy or power, or leadership in year 7 to 10 PE, let's connect that to possible content that we might look at in community and family studies. If we're talking about wellness or well-being or the dimensions of health, let's link that to the aspects of well-being. So lots of little touch points along the way is going to make your CAFS journey so much more successful. And the kids see that. They'll know that connection. Then they might start to choose child studies or PASS, and then that might build into community and family studies to be part of your context, and also to be building on the course across your school. Guys, I've been there, I've done that. We started with one community and family studies class when I was a very fresh-faced 22-year-old, and we built it to 4 CAFS classes in a very, very small all-girls school. So guys, if I can do it, trust me, once you build these positive relationships with your students, they are going to absolutely love our course. So let's talk about these 5 main areas of what I believe are the key ingredients to a successful community and family studies students. And a CAFS teacher knows this. They know that there's 5 main aspects. We're talking about knowledge and understanding of the syllabus, the naming and application of the Glossary of Keywords, a big one there, an obvious peel or teal or seal, sexy structure, really clear elements with our paragraphing. Wellbeing is embedded, but only where applicable. And our examples across the course are really unique and varied that make our students stand out from the rest. Let's have a look at each of these set of ingredients one by one. And once we see these connections and see these parts come together, your students are going to feel absolutely confident. They're going to feel really positive. They're going to love community and family studies, and they're going to work with you and for you. And they're going to really build some really good connections in your class. So let's bring it all together and make this really, really meaningful. The first thing is about the syllabus. That goes without saying. We have syllabus content and knowledge that we have to get the students to be understanding and applying. So possibly displaying our syllabus is really important. If we're lucky enough to have our own CAFS classroom, or if we share a classroom with maybe a PE colleague or another TAS colleague, displaying our syllabus in like a little corner somewhere, maybe on the wall, is important. Having the kids have their copies of the syllabus out in front of them when we start our learning in each teaching and learning opportunity. It might be maybe an A5 version. So I've done a few different versions of this. An A5 version where it might be like a really nice cover, a cardboard cover for the students. They might have the syllabus in there, Year 11 separate to Year 12, with possibly the glossary of keywords, scope and sequence, assessment schedule. It's all in their little CAFS Bible. It's all there together as one little document. So having the students have that out in class is really important. Having them apply their syllabus or have their notes set up with the syllabus is key here. So possibly using the syllabus learn tos and learn abouts, or possibly even using our learning intentions and success criteria to guide our content. And if you want to know more about this, I have a really awesome bonus course for you guys on learning intentions and success criteria that I'd really love for you guys to check out. You can head over to thelearnet.com on my website and check that free course out. But displaying the learning intentions and success criteria, the learn tos and learn abouts is really important. Making sure the kids kind of know where you're headed, where this is from the syllabus, and having all of your activities, all of your assessment tasks geared towards that. We also want our learn tos to be really front and center, making sure our students have that really clear understanding of where it comes from. The learn tos often guide the big picture parts of our course, the higher order thinking skills. And in the past, our CAFS HSC exam, we're really geared towards that, but we really need to be thinking about that application. It's more prevalent than ever, that really clear connection to our course in terms of application is key here. So having the kids apply their knowledge and understanding in lots of different contexts is really important. Guys, we want to be purposeful. There's always a method to the madness in my CAFS classroom. We want to have our syllabus displayed really clearly. It could be on posters, it could be color-coded, it could be our acronyms, all those sorts of things. We want our students to have a copy of the syllabus each, on either their laptop, a physical version, flashcards, all those sorts of things. And we want to be really purposeful in each teaching and learning experience that we choose. When we're reflecting in our registration on our programs, let's really think about if that was really purposeful, if it really linked to our course explicitly. And if it didn't, let's maybe look at something else, or let's rework that. Picking big ticket items and really focusing on the big picture of the course is really important here. Again, explicit links to learn tos, and our assessment tasks are really based around big ticket items in our course. So we're talking about things like wellbeing, needs, resources. We're looking at types of services, types of support. Those big ticket items are really going to be based around what we possibly choose to assess on. We might not choose something that's a bit smaller, say stuff on leadership or power. Yes, it's important, it's part of our course, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not something that is often repeated in our course. It is touched on in groups in context in Year 12, but we want to be looking for those strategic connections across the course in our assessment task, and our syllabus guides us with that. So once we see this connection, we're going to be able to have lots of success with our kids. The next ingredient to the recipe to success in community and family studies, and if you've followed me for a little while now, you will know that this is a big one for me. This is like your flour. This is the big one. It's the naming and application of the Glossary of Keywords. And guys, let me tell you, from the beginning, I would just have my kids learn them off by heart. They would know what the Glossary of Keywords were in terms of a definition. I would have it displayed in, I think, pink fluoro cardboard across my classroom, across the back wall in the first few years of teaching CAFS. But you know what was missing? I didn't actually teach the kids how to actually show the marker that they were applying their understanding of those Glossary of Keywords. These are doing words. They have a specific purpose, and we really need to be meaningful with our students with these all the way from the beginning. I'm talking Year 7. Even if you have the opportunity to be able to work in a K-12 school, let's start embedding them into our junior years. If you're working in a 7 to 12 school, you would know the importance of this. And you guys are in a really unique position with that. And I've been there and done that. I've worked in a 7 to 12 school for 14 years of my career. And I was able to embed those key Glossary of Keywords from the get-go in Year 7. And I know some of you guys are thinking that maybe a Year 7 student can't evaluate or can't assess or can't discuss. But let me tell you, I reckon for about 10 of those 14 years, I saw my students do it day in and day out. Yeah, it might have taken a bit longer, or might have looked a bit differently, but we need to start the kids from the very beginning with these words. They are the doing words. They guide our answers and get the students to actually put it into their answer. This is how they're going to set their answers up. The content will always be there, but the application of Glossary of Keywords is something that I really think we're missing. And it's not just my gut feeling about this, it's me presenting across the state for a number of different years, talking to you guys, having conversations, looking at student results of my students, having a chat to you guys about what's missing in your student responses. And of course, seeing that in the kids when I present revision days with them. And I've done it for a really long time. The kids are missing this key ingredient, and we're doing a disservice to them. We need to have it displayed. We need to have it in all of our booklets, everywhere. We need to have templates and scaffolds and make it really explicit and teach it from the beginning. The kids need to know what each of these glossary of keywords are. And you're really lucky. I have another bonus course available to you guys on all of these glossary of keywords. Again, head over to thelearnnet.com and you'll see that free course sitting there for you guys, as well as the clips and resources that will go with that. But having the kids to apply the understanding of the glossary of keywords is key here. So getting them to apply each of those glossary of keywords in lots of different contexts is really important. And the big one here is the language. Using language to show and to prove to the marker, whether it be you or possible HSC markers at the end in the grand final for the HSC, showing them what it takes. Getting them to use that language in their responses is key. And of course, the kids need to also focus on the higher order thinking skills. Those higher order glossary of keywords are really, really important to nail. Having a template, having some sort of scaffold is important. Guys, we need to be so explicit. We can't just assume the kids know this. We need to display the glossary of keywords in the classroom. And I'll have some posters available to you guys for this. We need to model the use of the words. We can't just assume the kids know what it takes. We also need to be able to teach this explicitly to the kids, and having the kids apply and practice it in lots and lots of different ways is really, really important. Okay, the next one is all about having an obvious peel structure with clear elements. Peel, teal, sexy, teal, whatever way you want to have your kids display their answers or have them separate their ideas into paragraphs, there needs to be a consistent approach across your faculty, across your school, and this is a big one. I think it needs to be really explicit. We need to show the kids right from the get-go, from Year 7 or from kindergarten or from Year 11, whatever context we're in, we need to set the kids up for success right from the very beginning. Let's not assume that they know how to write a paragraph or possibly even a sentence. We need to display it. We need to show them first. So really getting the kids and showing them a clear structure is really important. Consistency, again, is the key here. Being really explicit, start from Year 7 or Year 11, whatever context we're in, and having the kids practice it right from the very start and getting it right from the beginning is so important. So us demonstrating it, us showing the students, then coding it, highlighting it, annotating it, all those sorts of things is what we're really looking for here. Guys, we need to be so obvious with the kids. Again, we can't assume. Let's display that really clear paragraphing structure in our classroom and everything we do with the students. Really teaching them explicitly is really important as well. Having the kids provide you lots of different answers, and we need to have them practice the structure, but also giving them explicit feedback to each other and from us is really important. What we can also do is get the kids to be masters of their own learning. We can actually get them to annotate their responses, show you where they've used that peel paragraphing structure in all of their responses. And once they get it, it just becomes second nature to them. Okay, the next ingredient is well-being. And I love this idea about well-being. It's the umbrella of our course. It's so ingrained in our students. When you see a CAFS student who you haven't seen for a long time and you've taught them in the past, they will talk about well-being. Trust me. It is the umbrella of our course. And in a part exam specification, pre-2010, the students had to actually talk about well-being in every one of their answers. And guys, this is another misconception. Teachers still teach it to the kids that they have to link to well-being in all questions. So I'm going to demystify that right now. They don't have to. They only need to talk about well-being where it's applicable, and especially in option part C. Okay, that's a huge one. The kids don't need to talk about well-being in each of their groups in context or parenting and caring answers. They don't need to talk about it in part A or B of their option unless it states it in the particular question, unless it gets the students to talk about well-being there. The big thing here is this idea about embedding well-being to our option part C. We're talking about the 15 marker. We're talking about the essay. The 4 to 6 pages worth of response is where we talk about it. And we're talking about specs or speaks, having it really specific. What areas of well-being are we really nailing? Where's the variety? Not just about physical well-being, which often the kids will go to straight away, but also the other aspects of well-being and how they all link together. So we're really talking about that positive and or negative impact. It could be highly weighted on the impact of positively or negatively. It doesn't matter, but there's some sort of impact there. And that relationship, which is kind of really about analyzing, bringing all the bits together, and the implication of that is really important. So guys, this is another free training for you, another bonus course that I've made available to you guys on my website, againthelearnnet.com, it's going to show you this, and it's going to show you the importance of this with the rubric, with marking guidelines. And trust me, I believe this is the biggest missing ingredient in community and family studies classrooms and students across the state. Have a look at the averages in your RAP data, so the data that NESA bring out that you have available in schools online on the NESA website. When you log into that, you'll see that the average for the 15 marker in all of the options is significantly low. We're talking 5 and 6 out of 15. And I know that the kids can write, you know that the kids can write, but I really think this is the missing ingredient. And trust me, from everything I've done in HSC revision sessions, in my Year 12 masterclass sessions, this is the missing ingredient with our kids. We need to be explicit with wellbeing. We need to embed it in our part C for the option. So let's be really intentional here. Let's teach wellbeing thoroughly from year 11 and look at all those aspects. Make it really meaningful. Show that interrelationship between the aspects. We also need to have those explicit links across the option. So yes, it is part of part C, but we don't know where part C will come from for a HSC question. So please learn from my mistakes. I think one of my biggest mistakes in community and family studies was not talk about well-being in every dot point that I had. I taught the content and I taught it well, and I think I had some pretty good teaching and learning opportunities for the kids, but I don't think I actually taught well-being related to each dot point in the option as well as what I could have. Yes, I talked about well-being. I talked about it in terms of our case study, how it links to that, some of the bigger ticket items that kind of just became second nature to talk about well-being and how it linked. But I don't think I was explicit enough with this. Guys, I want you to be different. I want you to change the thinking of your kids. I want them to be able to link every dot point to well-being, because in the HSC, in that part C for their exam, they need to. So I'd really love to see some documents or some templates that you guys come up with, and I might even share some of my own of what this might look like for the kids. But having that really clear connection to well-being is so important. Let's be really specific though. Let's be varied, and let's show that really key relationship across the aspects of well-being. Okay, the last missing ingredient is specific examples that are really unique, they're really different, they're varied. We're going to come up with lots of different scenarios, situations, case studies with our kids. We want them to think outside the box. We don't want them to just use some of our awesome examples in our Nelson CAFS textbook, or possibly some examples that have been provided in the Cambridge checkpoints for CAFS. They're fantastic resources. They're phenomenal. And I'm not biased here, but we want our kids to also add to that. Let's think outside the box. Let's think of some other unique examples that are really important or really meaningful or connecting to their particular context. It could be related to their family, their community. It could be a particular service that is possibly in your area. I'm on the Central Coast, so we have Coast Shelter. I might use that as an example. That might be something that might support homeless people if I teach that for Category B. I might look at the AECG when I talk about having a service that helps with the educational needs for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. So being really specific and really intentional and thinking outside the box with our examples is really important. We want our kids' responses to stand out. We want when the HSC markers mark the kids' answers, or possibly when we mark them, we want the kids to stand out from the rest and getting the kids to work together. And I want you guys to be really purposeful with this. Don't just assume the kids will know, especially for groups in context, especially for parenting and caring, or some of the stuff in families and communities. Let's be really strategic. Let's make those connections across the course. Again, in my Exploring Year 11 CAFS program, I talk all about this. We want to work smarter, not harder. Guys, let's have lots of unique examples, lots of different case studies and scenarios, possibly looking at situations from things like Barnardo's or maybe Care Aware, or looking at different examples that might exist within our spaces, maybe going to the Australian Bureau of Statistics and looking at particular sampling techniques. Or we might look at different types of services available for parents and carers. Maybe Raising Children's Network might be something. We could be looking at lots of different services or scenarios or situations on the ABC or on Compass or on A Current Affair or in documentaries. We want our kids to be exposed to lots of different situations and scenarios that are outside of TV and movies. I love using TV and movies for a little snippet, but I wouldn't base my whole lesson on it. So something like Modern Family or those sorts of things, or Celebrity Apprentice, are all well and good, but let's have the kids link our examples to real life situations. And real life situations in Australia is probably the best way to go. So developing clear links across the content, again, is what I'm all about. Let's be really specific and let's use really unique and varied examples all the way across the course. But we can also be really meaningful. Some of the stuff we talk about in families and communities, particular services that might support families or communities, can then be spoken about again in possibly groups in context in Year 12, or possible examples for types of support in parenting and caring. Guys, let's be so explicit. Let's teach the skills. Let's teach the knowledge and understanding right from the get-go, really explicitly. The kids will absolutely shine. Making these shifts with your students is going to be huge. And I really want to hear from you guys of what this is going to look like. Once you see that shift in your kids, it is going to make a huge, huge difference in their engagement, in their love of learning, in their connection with CAFS, but also with their results as well. Okay, the ingredients to success. Let's quickly recap. We have a really unique opportunity in CAFS. We can create a really positive, fun classroom environment that the kids absolutely love coming to. We want to show a genuine interest in their life. This course is about life. We are so lucky to be able to teach this course, and I feel super grateful to spend my whole career teaching this particular course and now supporting you guys in it. Developing really engaging teaching and learning opportunities for our kids to really dig a bit deeper, to have some really higher order thinking skills, to really love what they do. Teaching it explicitly, the skills that we need them to have for success right from the very beginning is really important. So the skills in a really clear peel structure, having those glossary of keywords under their belt, knowing how to apply them in lots of different contexts is really important. And of course, lastly, linking explicitly to wellbeing, of course, in our option part C, and lots of different examples within our course. Guys, it is about being intentional, and the kids will move through this with you and you'll have them follow you, and they're going to feel so much more successful once they do this. I have 3 big challenges though, and you guys might be thinking about this too. We are so focused on the content. We have to get through the content. I think we often assume this. We assume the kids know how to write a paragraph or even how to write a sentence. We assume they know what the glossary of keywords are. And of course, the big one is always time. Where is the time, Kelly? Kel, you give me all this stuff to do, but where is the time to do this? Guys, these are 3 simple strategies that we can follow. A really positive and engaging classroom. We want our kids to love our class. We want our kids to love CAFS and to be able to take some of these key ideas and thinking behind the course into the real world. It is about advocacy. It is about supporting young people in developing key skills for them to be really meaningful citizens in the future. Having really explicit knowledge, understanding, and skills being applied. Obviously, we have really cool connections across the course. We're really lucky there, and having good links and examples all the way through our course. Guys, you will see a huge change in your kids. That shift, that there's no fluff anymore. It's all content. It's all skills-based. Once we see this shift in our kids, they will absolutely thrive. And of course, these relationships are so important. Having that really clear and connected relationship with the students from the beginning is key to success. Once the students know that, and they get to know you and you get to know them, they will work for you and with you. If you say to them, okay, we're meeting at lunch or meeting at recess, let's have our CAFS club, let's have our CAFS revision session, they will come. If you have that really positive learning environment from the beginning, they will absolutely thrive and have that really positive effect on their achievement. I want to ask you though, if you had the time, what would you do differently? How would you do things differently with your CAFS crew? Okay, here's our pathway. We are going to create a really positive learning environment for the kids and have some really good relationships with them. Get to know them. We're going to develop really engaging and purposeful teaching and learning opportunities, lots of different things happening, lots of planning, but also lots of experimenting as well. We're going to teach the glossary of keywords really, really explicitly, and we're going to have the kids practice those in lots of different contexts. We're going to model a clear peel structure, and we're going to have the kids practice that in lots of different ways. They're going to nail that structure, and it's going to be really clear and concise. Wellbeing is embedded. We know it's embedded throughout the course from year 11 all the way through, but really we want to focus on that option. Part C is the key there. And of course, we're going to expose the kids to lots of different unique situations, case studies, examples, and they're going to be able to come up with their own in the course. That pathway, what difference do you think this would make to your students, both now and in the future? Let's recap the reality though. Yes, we've got syllabus content to get through, Kell. We take for granted there's so many assumptions that we have, and of course, time is important. The process is fourfold. We have a positive classroom environment. We provide engaging teaching and learning opportunities for our kids. We're going to apply their understanding. They're going to apply the glossary of keywords and have a clear, peel, till, sexy structure with their paragraphing. And we're also going to have explicit links from Wellbeing into our options, but across the course, and lots of different examples that are going to connect our kids to content. Guys, I really hope this has been valuable for you. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. You can join the CAFS community over on my website. Those free bonus courses are available to you guys across there. So thelearnnet.com is where you need to go. You can also join me on Facebook at The Learn Network, as well as Instagram at The Learn Net. Guys, I've also created a free Facebook group for us as CAFS teachers. It's completely unique to us. Please head across to that link and you'll be able to have access to our group. And also, if you have any questions about any of my courses, any of my coaching and mentoring sessions, or just a simple CAFS question, students or teachers, please head over to kelly@thelearnnet.com. Thank you so much, guys, and good luck in your CAFS journey.